Honoring those trailblazers who preceded us is just as important as leaving a legacy for those who will follow us. Greekly Speaking is about highlighting Greeks today who are creating positive change for tomorrow. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Hello, welcome to Greekly Speaking. I'm Eric Tucker, and joining me for this episode is Maxwell McDaniel of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Max was initiated in the Delta Theta chapter of Phi Beta Sigma in the spring of 2020 at Prairie View A&M University. He's a rising senior studying business management, and prior positions within the fraternity include historian and stepmaster, and he's currently serving as the second vice president. Max was also a charter member of the Theta Mu Sigma Dallas chapter of Phi Beta Sigma's Sigma Beta Club, serving as president for 2 years, and has attended 4 national leadership conferences. I mean, this young man has it going on, man. Hey, everybody, welcome Maxwell McDaniel to Greekly Speaking. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well, sir. Very well.
Hey, I love it, man. Whenever I see someone, with a 2020 on their initiation, I think these pandemic frats and sorors are gonna be awesome, man, because they went through a lot. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise, man. How was that experience for you?
Honestly, it was very unique. I can honestly say I've had unique experience going through MIP than many people who are already in the frat or will be, because we got in right before the cutoff happened. I'm talking about right before we had a joint ceremony, everything. It was great. And then all of a sudden the next week I'm like, oh, I'm preparing for probate. And then I get an email from the school, you're not allowed on campus. You need to be out of here, you out of there. Can't do this, can't do that. So I got really lucky, like really lucky, especially with changing the way that people kind of look at probates and new member presentations, because we started a bit of a trend with doing online probates. It happened in the past, but with the pandemic, it kind of became a necessity for people to do it if they wanted to show people they're still doing stuff. So I thought it was kind of neat because my chapter, Delta Theta, was one of the first ones to put something out like that. And it went pretty well. And seeing how it's gone since then, this year we had another line and we were able to work with the pandemic and everything like that. And they had to do similar circumstances. But even then, I was like, hey, it wasn't the same because ours was like short, everything. It was a lot of stuff going on. But I'm just happy that I'm able to be a member of Phi Beta Sigma at the end of the day.
That's awesome, man. I want to jump into that. So I'm glad you brought that up. But first, let me ask if you had any Greek experiences or Greek influences in your life coming up.
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. My mom and dad were big proponents about it. My father pledged back in the 80s at Miro chapter at UT Austin. And him being in the fraternity for a majority of his life and my entire life very much showed me how men can act not just in one setting, but in how it can relate to everything else that happens in life. I've seen him be the president, be committee chair, be on executive boards, all this stuff. And I would always say, Dad, what does this have to do with your job? Like, you're doing this on the weekends and you're at a job from 9 to 5. It's like, it's because I want to be a part of something else that's going on. I want to help people that are less fortunate than I am, show people that there's a better way to do things, all those different things. And it just very much impacted me and made me a very productive person growing up. There's always stuff going on after school activities. My dad runs a step team out here in Dallas too. I'd be out there volunteering every day after school, doing Sigma Beta Club activities, things I didn't even realize at the time were helping me to be who I am today. And really just Greek life showed me that there's a different type of unification that can happen with people, especially in Sigma, because Sigmas you get everyone, not just black people. You get all different types of ethnicities. And seeing all that happen in that big melting pot very much made me want to be a part of a Greek organization when I got to campus, namely Phi Beta Sigma.
I love it, man. Well, first of all, shout out to your dad, man, for being present in your life and doing what seems to be a good job of raising the kid. That's always good to see. We don't see enough of that, and hopefully he's not showing you life lessons, but also showing you how to teach your kids life lessons. So, man, shout out to that. If for you for picking it up, man. You could have been a knucklehead, but evidently you listened to at least one of those lessons, man, and that's cool. So, how many people were on the line with you?
We had 16 brothers cross with me.
What was the name of the line?
We call ourselves a 16 triple P, but it stands for 16 proven prophecy plus.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm the deuce on that line. My line name was Einstein. I don't know.
Einstein.
Yeah, I always had a way of kind of looking at the world kind of unique, and my MIP chair let me know that Einstein kind of reflected how he views I am and how I can kind of view the world. And after doing some research on who Albert Einstein was, outside of just what you already see, I kind of resonated with it, and it made me understand a lot. And with the proven prophecy plus, it was him saying that with Delta Theta chapter in their eclectic history, there's a prophecy that they kind of have put forward to be Delta Theta will be a wonderful chapter and Sigma itself will be wonderful. And these 16 individuals kind of act as a not a template, but kind of like showing what an idea of what Sigma can be. So that idea was placed in my mind at that time when I did wind up, coming through and everything. So
Okay. See, being one of those pandemic lines, I thought your line name would have been like hand sanitizer or face mask or Big Brother don't sneeze on me, that kind of
ah,
thing, But hey, I get it. Okay, we'll go with the regular stuff. That's cool, man.
nah,
But
man.
that's awesome. Sigma's making blueprints, man, and I think that's beautiful to see. So you holding down a couple of positions, huh? And one that strikes my attention is stepmaster, because some of us old heads, we don't think these young guys know how to step. So we actually gonna have to put you to the test at some point. And since you're talking about going virtual, we'll let you in on new plans to launch a virtual step competition on the new Roku Greekly Speaking TV network. So stay tuned for more information, and we're going to see exactly who needs to be called Stepmaster or Step Disaster. So we'll see. We'll see.
Step
I love
disaster.
it,
Oh
man.
my gosh, I
Nah,
love
nah,
that one.
nah. We gotta talk crap, man. Hey, but look, let me ask this, man, because in full disclosure for the audience, we learned a lot about you and some of the things you have going on, through social media networks, with the connection with your chapter and with your dad. And we wanted to just kind of highlight some of that, man. But let me ask you this. So as far as community service, what are some of the projects you guys are known for, or some of the things that you found most interesting?
Well, namely with community service, my background with that goes back all the way back to my days in the Beta Club. Being Student Beta Club, we would do things here in Dallas with the American Heart Association, March of Dimes, which is a big thing nationally with Sigma. But here in Dallas, my dad made a point to make sure our chapter would be at that picnic, be at that march, be at that walk, passing out water, understanding this can relate to not even just you, but your classmate may be a baby that benefits from March of Dimes, stuff like that. In my chapter currently, we do this thing called Adopt a Highway. Majority of the fraternities on campus do it, but we took a section of old 290, which is the back highway, which is kind of in the country. If you know Prairie View, there's Prairie View, there's Waller, and there's Hempstead. And in that, it's all jumbled up into one, and this gets really dirty, gets really trashy. And we actually made a point to make sure that we go out there and we do highway cleanups. We do different events with a lot of mental health awareness events, especially not just dealing with stuff that, is tangible, but the intangible stuff, showing that we're kind of, very much standing here for our brothers, for our sisters, for everyone that has a need, something that needs to get done. So that's really what we try to focus on at campus, stuff like that. And with the pandemic, it was very difficult trying to work with stuff. So we had to get a little bit creativity in the chapter to find out ways that we can connect to people. Because the same way how you're sitting here on Zoom talking to me now, this connection, during the pandemic, I saw a lot of people fall off with stuff like that. And it didn't really make sense to me, but we're trying to really work to figure that out, especially with things opening up now. It's going to be a lot of stuff that's on the chopping block is going to come up. It's going to be really nice.
I love it. And you also have a couple of endeavors going on. We understand that you are aspiring to reach new heights within the fraternity.
Yes, sir.
And tell us a little bit about that, and what is some of the passion behind it?
Well, I'm currently running for the international second vice president position for Phi Beta Fraternity Incorporated. And quite honestly, It was a task that was kind of put on me a bit by myself and my mentors that I've had in Sigma and in life. Majority of my mentors in life have been Sigmas just because my dad's friends are who I'm around. But a lot of seeing what's going on in Sigma, what's going on in the world, is really what put it on me to want to put myself out there. Because it's one thing for someone to say, hey, I think you'd be a good job at this, but it's another thing for you to actually say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a good job. I'm going to put my effort into this to try to change a narrative or change something that's happening in the world. And honestly, it was the way that Greeks were being looked at, the way Sigmas were being looked at by the younger generation, the way that Greek life is kind of perceived on campuses. A lot of it has made things difficult for us in the past moving forward. And I'm really trying to change a little bit of how we're viewed and how things are working. And I feel like a big part of that is focusing on these collegiate brothers, focusing on how we can make sure our outreach is there, making sure that we're seen, making sure that people know that Sigma is the people's frat. And that starts at the collegiate level to a certain degree. We already have the Sigma Beta Club working, and they're doing beautiful things. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. It's doing beautiful things. But now that I'm in the collegiate chapters, I'm seeing we need to really work on us because we're the front line of what's going to be out there, you know?
Hey man, you sounded pretty presidential, man. I mean,
Ah,
you seem a lot. You have the ability, obviously, to assess your current situation and understand your landscape and understand some gaps that you can try to help fill. So hats off to you, man, and for not only seeing the challenges but rising up to it. And I wish you nothing but the best of success. And I have a feeling you're going to do pretty well, man. Hey, but before we let you go, let me ask this: if you were to meet someone who was considering going Greek, whether pledging a fraternity or sorority, what advice would you give to them?
I would tell them to find the place where they feel as if they're the most comfortable and fit, because very often you wind up not just in Greek life, but in social settings, you wind up in a place where you're completely a fish out of water. You don't know what's going on. You're trying to force yourself to fit into something, especially in college, especially. You're going from one extreme to another. You're going from high school to college. That's a whole new setting, whole new surroundings, whole new people. So you're trying to really find out who you are. I've kind of coined the term the gauntlet, the ages 20 to 25. I'm in that right now. It's really understanding what it's like to really be a real person and stuff like that. And fraternity and sororities can very much help with that. But the only way it's going to help with it is if you're finding the people that relate to you and talk to you, that understand you. I would say find an organization that speaks to your passions and use that as a conduit to how you're going to go about making your selection. So
Hey, I love it, man. And speaking of making selections, I know you're majoring in business, and for anyone who may be viewing this broadcast, who's in a position to bring on some new talent, what are your aspirations? What would you love to do after college?
really after college, I'm looking into going entrepreneurship route. Very much I'm interested in consulting and working as a project manager, looking at like cryptocurrency fields, looking into new legal markets that are opening up around the states. I'm very much a cutting edge type of guy. So stuff that's coming up and is new, that's going to be here for a while, that's stuff I'm looking at. The pandemic really made me look at job markets differently because it made me understand who is going to be around, who is helping the planet, who is actually essential not just to our Americanized lives, but who's a central business. And those are the type of things that I've been looking at, trying to make myself more marketable and just trying to make myself, an open book to understanding stuff because no matter what field it may be, you can always take something and learn from it and become better in whatever passion is you're trying to do.
All right, I'm giving you a new line name, man. Your line name is Big Brother Impact. Einstein, he knew a lot, but you do a lot. All right. So you keep that up, man. I love
Thank
this,
you.
man. He said, I'm not trying to work for anybody. I'm trying to hire people. I love this, man. Hey, Max McDaniel, Delta Theta chapter, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated at Prairie View University. I love it, man. Hey, we wish you the best. We want to thank you for spending a couple of minutes to talk to us here on Greekly Speaking and let us know if there's anything we can do to help promote any of the things you have going on in the future. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.